Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to the Rotary Club of York, where our mission is to improve life in the city of York by connecting our club's diverse community leaders through fellowship, action, and service. I'm your president, Wilda Ream, and as you know, we start off our meetings by reciting the four-way test. Please join me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Today, our opening song, The Star-Spangled Banner, and the pledge will be led by Leanne Wilson, followed by the invocation by past President Jackie Summers and visitor introductions by Maurice Jones.
Rotarians and guests, please place your hand over your heart and join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. Could you kindly join me in a word of prayer? Eternal God, we gather together with grateful hearts, recognizing the countless ways you provide opportunities to serve. May we continue to embody the core values of Rotary and renew our purpose and our commitment to placing the needs of others above our own. As we look at the inequities in our world, our desire grows stronger for a better, more just society. We aspire to create a world where justice prevails, fairness guides every decision, and everyone's voice is valued. We lift up our speaker and the ongoing work of the York Benevolent Association. For generations, this organization has demonstrated true compassion and generosity, offering support by providing food, clothing, and fuel assistance to those in need. Let us strive to act with greater compassion and understanding, continuing to be a force for good in our community and beyond. We give thanks for this meal and for those who have prepared and served it. And now, with gratitude and a spirit of service, we ask for your continued blessing on us all. Amen.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm pleased to have the honor to introduce our guest for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until President Wilda welcomes you. First up, we have Cindy Snetska, whose home club is Harrisburg. Welcome. George Lynchner, guest of Sam Willman. Lee Heckney, guest of Sam Willman. Joanne Heckney, guest of Sam Willman. Mark Crom, guest of Sam Willman. Linda Crom, guest of Sam Willman. Ed Ritter, guest of Sam Willman. Sandy Sykes, guest of past President Al Sykes. And Melissa Mormon, guest of Thomas Calton Jerome. I apologize. Calton Jerome. I now turn the podium over to President Wilder.
Visitors, we're so glad that you're here with us today. Whether this is your first visit or you're back again, it's always a pleasure to have new faces in the room. Rotary is about connection, service, and making a difference, and we're excited to share that spirit with you. We hope you feel welcome and inspired during your time with us. If what you see here today resonates with you, we'd love to have you consider becoming part of our Rotary family. Rotarians, please help me welcome our visitors. You may be seated. You may be seated. And now for some announcements. If you have any comments about my bell ringing, it's because I felt a little lax since Doug wasn't in the room. So President-elect Doug Berman, President-elect nominee Kelly Gibson, and our Executive Director Lynn Morrison are in Dallas, Texas this week for the Large Club Conference. This annual meeting brings together the leadership of Rotary clubs in North America with more than 100 members to share ideas, best practices, and fellowship. And thank you to our Preserve Planet Earth Committee for organizing an impactful tree planting project along Market Street, and to all the Rotarians who showed up to dig in and make it happen. Although I heard there wasn't too much hard digging, but together we helped add 63 new trees to our community, an investment in a greener, healthier York for years to come. So thank you all again for being out there on Saturday. And then the membership, our committee's membership recruitment committee will meet today at 1:30 downstairs in the Mixed Grill. The student education committee will meet on October 28th at 8 o'clock on Zoom. The Speedy committee will meet on October 28th at noon at the Community Foundation. And the communications committee will meet on October 28th at 4 at the Holy Hound Tap Room. So October 24th is World Polio Day. Polio is a paralyzing and potentially fatal disease that still threatens children in some parts of the world. It mainly affects children under 5, and while polio can be prevented by vaccines, it is not curable. For more than 30 years, Rotary and our partners have driven the effort to eradicate polio worldwide by vaccinating children on a massive scale. More than 1 million Rotarians have donated their time and money to eradicate polio, and every year, hundreds of members work with health workers to vaccinate children in countries affected by polio. As a core partner in the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, or the GPEI, Rotary focuses on advocacy, fundraising, volunteer recruitment, and awareness building. When Rotary and its partners formed the GPEI in 1988, there were 350,000 cases of polio in 125 countries every year. Today, we have reduced polio cases by 99.9%, and just 2 countries continue to report cases of wild polio virus, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Rotary and our partners have made tremendous progress against polio, but eliminating all cases is going to take even more progress and perseverance. Afghanistan and Pakistan face unique challenges, including political insecurity, highly mobile populations, difficult terrain, and in some instances, vaccine refusal and misinformation. With sufficient resources, the commitment of national governments, and innovations that improve access to remote areas, we are optimistic that we can eliminate polio. I think we have a short video to share.
Right now, at this very moment, there's a movement happening. See, Rotary sparked an idea that was once unthinkable, ridding the world of a horrible disease, polio. A global community of scientists, advocates, governments, and health workers, people all doing their part to beat the unbeatable, track the untraceable, reach the unreachable. And it's all happening right now, people. This part of history belongs to everybody, so tell everybody, near, far, young, and old, that it will take everybody. Because legacies aren't forged overnight. Making history isn't instant. In the decades since Rotary and its partners started this journey, billions of children have been protected from polio. But we still have work to do. And this part's on us. All of us. Part-time, full-time, full stop. Right now, no breaks, no indifference. You and me. Because polio isn't unstoppable. We are. Together, we end polio.
So in honor of World Polio Day, on the local front, you can support our neighboring club, York East, and the York International Polio Plus Foundation at the Pints for Polio fundraiser tomorrow night at the Vikings Club. And as we announced last week, Rotarian Tom McCracken's sister will share their mother's inspiring journey with polio that evening. There was a link in last week's announcer, and I, as well as the East York Club's Facebook page. And if you are on Facebook, I also posted that in our members only group as well. So if that's a great way to support the great work that Rotary is doing in the fight against polio. And now I would like to invite Nick Beck to the podium to share his experience at the Rotary Leadership Institute training.
Thank you, Wilda. Good afternoon, Rotarians. My name is Nick Beck, as Wilda said, and for those who may not know, the Rotary Leadership Institute, or RLI, was held on Saturday, October 4th, and it's a series of interactive leadership courses designed to help Rotarians grow in knowledge and impact. Today, I just want to share a quick review of the differences that I noticed in my experience between Part 1 and Part 2. So Part 1, I had done about a year ago, and it was more about the foundations of Rotary leadership. So it introduces you to the structure of Rotary, the purpose of the organization as a whole, and the role that the clubs play in the larger structure of Rotary. You were to explore topics like effective club leadership, membership engagement, and basics of service, and then incorporated with the Rotary Foundation. It's designed to build a strong understanding of what Rotary is and how you as an individual member can fit into the bigger picture. Part 2, on the other hand, dives deeper into applying that knowledge. So it focuses more on how to lead effectively within Rotary and your community. You'll explore advanced topics like team building, communication styles, project planning, and strategic thinking. It's more interactive, it's more discussions, it's more real world examples and opportunities to share your experiences with the fellow Rotarians there. There were many different clubs there. Our group had 5, my Part 2 had 5 different clubs there. One of the real world examples that I learned about that I was not aware about before was the Rotary short-term exchange. So at our club, we all know that we do the full semester-long youth exchange program, but some of the smaller clubs don't have the resources available to do that. So instead, they do the short-term exchange, and what that is, it's a 3-week-long program where basically, if you have a child that you want to do an exchange in another country, Rotary would partner you with another host family who has a child similar age to yours. Your child would go spend 3 weeks in their country. They would then come back with the other child, and they would spend 3 weeks home with you. So I thought that was a really cool program that I didn't know about before, that just shows, kind of the different levels that Rotary has, from the full semester-long youth leadership to a shorter-term exchange program. There's 3 total parts to RLI, plus a graduate course. So I imagine I will probably be back up here in a year telling you about how Part 3 went. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And if you are interested in diving deeper into Rotary or stepping into a leadership role on a committee, or you have future board aspirations or perhaps future presidential aspirations, please let Lynn or I know of your interest for next year. And we do keep a list compiled for individuals who are interested in that training. And now I invite past President Courtney Piccolo to the podium for another fun membership engagement announcement.
Hello, everyone. I am here today to tell you that on November 19th, the Membership Engagement Committee is recognizing all members who achieved perfect attendance during the 2024-2025 Rotary year. So members with perfect attendance will get this delicious steak for lunch that day. So even more of a reason to come to Rotary. And you might be wondering, how do I get perfect attendance? Well, if you come to this meeting, you're off to a great start. That counts. But if you can't attend this meeting, we also have everything streaming on Zoom live every week. The link for that is always in the weekly announcer. And if you can't make the live viewing, you could also watch the YouTube recording. And as long as you email Lynn afterwards and say, hey, I just watched YouTube, she'll give you credit for attending that meeting. So that's some of the ways that you're able to get perfect attendance. But additionally, you also get credit for attending any committee meeting, any board meeting, any fellowship event, or any time that you volunteer on behalf of Rotary that counts towards your perfect attendance. So it's not just coming to the meetings. Basically, anytime you're engaged with our club, you're working towards that perfect attendance. So I will be sending an email out here in a few minutes that will tell you if you were one of the people that got perfect attendance for the last Rotary year, so that you know on November 19th, you're going to be having a special meal while everybody else is going to be having a hamburger that day. So be on the lookout for that email. Excited to celebrate with everybody, especially those who have 30 plus years of perfect attendance. So thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm seeing a trend here with member engagement and fun. But, we'd like to think that our weekly meetings are incentive enough for perfect attendance, but hopefully a steak will incentivize you even more. And at this time, I'd like to invite Leanne Wilson, the chair of the Youth Leadership Committee, to the podium for an update from her committee.
I don't have steak, but I can promise if you volunteer for this, it's popcorn and Rutter's drinks and muffins are free. So anyways, I'll tell you what we're up to. In this room, we have nonprofit leaders, lawyers, bankers, accountants, utilities, engineers, marketers, public servants, just to name a few professions. And I know that there are many more. For whatever you are doing now, what did you do? What were you dreaming about when you were a kid? Are you doing what you thought you would be doing? If not, what changed your path? Or if so, how did you know this is what you wanted to be when you grew up? Every year, the Junior Achievement of South Central Pennsylvania invites 5th and 6th graders into BizTown, where they get to pretend to be grown-ups for a day and dream about what they can be when they grow up. Prior to arriving, they go through an interview process to get selected for the various roles, many of which I noted. As we know, adulting is hard, and it gives them a small taste of what it's like to have a job, earn money, and how to track expenses. In order for the state to be successful, Junior Achievement needs actual grown-ups to help keep the students on task. And this is where the Rotary Club of York comes in. As part of our mission to improve the life of York City and our focus on cultivating youth success, we have another volunteer opportunity. We will come together as a club to work directly with the students of Ferguson Elementary and the Smith STEAM Academy at BizTown. The date for this will be January 8th from 8:30 to 2. We are promoting this a little bit early because we will have a special training on December 3rd. And because of the holidays, Junior Achievement is going to need to know all the volunteers well before the end of the year. In addition to the January 8th day, which is our designated day for our club, there is also a combined effort on February 17th, where all the Rotary clubs in York are going to come together for that day. So we are taking volunteers for both. Registration is now on Club Runner. We will have the QR codes and additional announcements during some November meetings. But please let me know if you have questions on how you can participate and inspire York City kids to know what they can be when they grow up.
Thank you, Leanne. And if you were intimidated by reading to pre-K kids, teens may be more your speed. This sounds like a great opportunity. And again, rewarding to help set the future success of the youth in our community. And at this time, I invite John Euler to the podium to introduce our speaker for today.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm without script. That's always dangerous. I'm not here to advance Rawhauser's dream that York was the first capital of the United States. But I'm happily here and honored to be here to introduce an organization which is deemed York's oldest charitable institution, a jewel, a gem that's been hidden, and I wish to have the opportunity to share it a bit with you. Samuel Small Sr., a giant in the early days of York's industry, was a prominent, successful businessman, an agriculturist, a merchant, but he was best known for his philanthropy, having been involved with such entities such as the Collegiate Institute, inspired to set aside land for a hospital here in York. He was involved in so many projects, I cannot conceive how he had the energy to attain the prominency that he achieved in the business world. Our own Penn Park, back at the time of 1863, became the site of medical hospitals for those who were wounded, those Union soldiers who were wounded in the Civil War. And of course, the resultant death of those soldiers and the inevitable widows and orphans that became a byproduct. Small was inspired to look toward creating a home for orphans, a site for widows to achieve their future. And as a corollary to that, recognize that there was a need for assistance to those individuals who became impoverished, who were unable to clothe themselves, to feed themselves, to shelter themselves, and indeed provide heat for whatever shelter they could find. Back then, the goal was coal and wood. Now, today, we have arguably many other means by which that can be achieved. All that said, Small then created a group of individuals which was called the York Association for charitable purposes, providing benefits, the Benevolent Association of York. This was an informal group from 1863 up until 1874, when that group was first chartered. Then the Corporation Bureau didn't exist, so it wasn't until a later time that it was adopted into an incorporation, which was in 1995. Small's energy and his devotion to this organization, the Benevolent Association, was without question. All of his family members, and there were considerable family members, became involved, became a part of, and attained leadership status until after his death in 1985. As a tribute to Small, all of York's factories, all of York's businesses, its stores, its mercantile businesses closed for a number of hours during the time of his funeral. That's an achievement or a recognition that few have attained in this community and is well deserving. But more importantly to all of this is that the Benevolent Association, from that time of 1863, has continued without a hiccup. For 30 years, an individual by the name of David Foss was the manager of this organization, and he passed away in 1904. The interim managers up until our speaker today, I cannot recite at this juncture because my time for exploring history on this issue was not as in depth. But I'm proud to introduce Carleen Farabaugh, who is the overseeing executive director of the association. I should note that of recent years, the families have had a connectivity with this group. It was Dempwolfs, it was Schmidt, it was Horners, it was Gladfelter. And of more recent years, the Stetlers have been very much involved with the organization. With that said, and no undue delay, I introduce you to Carleen and welcome to the Rotary. And I'm sure the Rotary Club will be informed as to this gem that we have in our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I feel very special to be able to speak here. How many of you knew, well, let's do it this way. How many of you did not know about the York Benevolent before? That's just amazing to me. But now it's very disappointing to me, honestly. Again, with it being with the oldest charitable organization, it has not stopped at all. In my time, I came to the Benevolent in 2010. I have had to close one time in all of those years. So I'm very proud to be able to serve our neighbors in need. So a little bit of information on myself. Somebody said about, if you look back, what got you to where you're at today? I don't know. I started out, my career path was beauty school. 1971, I started beauty school. That didn't seem to be enough for me, so I thought, I want to teach beauty school. So I did. I came from a family of 9 children. I am dead center I'm the 5th child. We did not have a lot. We stood in those surplus lines for the food. And I just kept thinking, there's got to be something better out there that we can all do. We shouldn't have to struggle for food. But I went on and I had various jobs. I was an instructor for several years for beauty school. Then I went on to have a family. Even with the family, with 2 young ones at home, I still would hop from one beauty shop to the other so they could go on vacation, because you have to have a manager in beauty shops. So I would do that, so give them a break. Then an opportunity came apart. My husband worked in the coal mines. Coal mines went under. He went to Letterkenny Army Depot to work. I didn't like that because he was 3 hours away from us. So I took a job baking overnight in a restaurant to get us through. After the first year, I said, this is it. I cannot live like this. I said, we're moving. And I said, but Carrolltown, PA has been our home forever. I said, not anymore. We move. So we came down, he got a job at New Cumberland Depot. We now live in Newberrytown, York Haven. I've been there for 35 years, whatever. My husband's position at the depot also got me a position in the depot. I went in as a food service worker in 1988. Again, there's this strong feeling within me that wasn't quite enough. I went on to be kitchen manager. The DDSP trained me very well. I went on to several schools. I went to Virginia, Patuxent, Virginia, earned my culinary chef degree there. So I've cooked for colonels, everything. I worked as the chef at the Susquehanna Club, if anybody's familiar with that. I have a background in childhood nutrition because we also had the daycare on the base. I eventually was food and beverages manager there. Again, something still says, what can you do? There's a little bit more. I want my own business. I want my own. All of my bosses, all of the people said, don't do it. You're giving up a lot here. I said, no, I'm not. Opened up my own restaurant, Mom's Kitchen in Newberrytown. Loved it. It was probably the best thing I ever did. However, my daughter and I ran the business. My daughter became sick and she wasn't able to handle. She did the floor and I did the kitchen. She wasn't able to do it. So I left the restaurant go, but I didn't want to get out of the restaurant altogether. Was looking for another place that I could handle on my own a little bit more. I had a realtor looking for me and she says, I want to take you out today somewhere. She takes me to the shoe house. And I said, Jody, I get what you're doing now. This isn't going to work. This is not me. Well, she knew me better than I knew me. So in 2002, my husband and I purchased a shoe house. We put an ice cream parlor downstairs and did tours of the shoe house. If anybody remembers, after Malin Haynes had it, years after that, then his daughter actually purchased a shoe house. Annie did a lot to restore the basic construction of the shoe. It didn't go too well for her. It was a lot of hard work, but she put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. But she had to let it go. And then it fell into the hands where somebody sold antiques out of it. History wasn't being conveyed like it should be. So in 2000, again, I said, this is what we're going to do. And God was smiling on us at one day because I was sitting out back thinking, I just don't have the finances to do this, to get it restored the way it needs to be restored historically. The Hilton Inn called us like 2 days after that and said, just hear me out. We want to help you out here. We want to restore the shoe house with you. So they did. They went on a thing. They helped us restore the windows, which were in terrible shape. They repainted the shoe house in its original thing. That's when it had the shoelaces. Anybody remember the shoelaces on the shoe house? I actually have a picture of me up there on there painting the shoelaces, because even after they restored it and painted it, it still needed done every year. It needed touched up. So while I was at the shoe, and I delved into the history of the shoe house. I'm not a historical person, but it just gets under your skin. You just can't stop once you get into it. It is a strong piece of York history. Again, Mayland Haynes was an amazing man. What he gave to York, people tell me that, well, what was so great about him? He died penniless. I said, yes, he did, but look at what he left behind. It was his choice to give everything away. His shoe stores he gave to his employees, in the shoe house itself. You probably remember it for being for newlyweds. I didn't do that. I opened it up to the whole entire world and left everybody come through, and I loved that also. Again, I'm sitting on top of the shoe, the toe of the shoe at one point, and I got a call. Again, my daughter was getting a little bit worse at that point. So I said, well, I need to think this over. And the same time, I get a phone call from one of my dear friends. He says, I have a favor to ask you. He said, we don't really know where else to turn right now. And he said, I'm a member at the York Benevolent Association, and our manager then is leaving. Could you please help us out? I said, oh, Joel, I don't think so. I got my hands full here now. I got the shoe house. I'm open, you know. And at that time, I was still working at the depot. I was doing both, doing the shoe house through the day, and then in the evenings, some of the evenings, I would go in and help out at the depot. I said, I don't really think, I said, I'll try to help you out. It's coming into my off-season months. It was October. I'll try to help you out till you get somebody. That's been over 15 years. They haven't gotten anybody yet. But I have to tell you, I found what I was supposed to do. It's the best job I have ever had. Excuse me. Helping people. Sorry. When you see the faces of these people coming through, it's unbelievable. How grateful. Last week, I was opening up the gate to get into the Benevolent. I'm sorry, I don't usually get this emotion. I was opening up the gate to get into the Benevolent, and this mother, I'm thinking, oh, I'm running late. Here's coming somebody, and I said, thinking I have to see if I can get her food really fast before my appointment comes in. And she comes running, she's pulling a little kid by the hand, and she says, come on, come on. And she said, she gets up there with her son, and she said, now this is the lady that you need to thank for giving us food so we can eat. Not at all what I expected. I thought, I chastised myself for thinking, now how am I going to get food to her and still keep my appointment? And all she wanted to do was say thank you, and to teach her son to say thank you also. That's why we do what we do every day. You know? Judge Oler gave a great introduction about, he taught me a few things. I'm on a mission to get the history of the shoe house into a booklet, into something that we can preserve, because I feel very strongly that the York Benevolent Association is a part of York. What Mr. Small and his family did, I know Smalls as the food service thing, being in the food service business. So it's kind of funny how things do a turnabout. I was related, or had a history of the PA Small food service. And that's where we would get some of our food order from. They are no longer in business, but they were, like he said, into everything. So, and I don't know who the managers and the directors and wherever where I know it's had an up and down history, but again, it has never stopped. So we do the food service. When I started out in 2010, we were only open 6 months out of the year to serve the women and the children during the cold winter months. And I did the winter months, and then I went to the board members. Sam, I don't know if you were at that meeting or not, but I distinctly remember saying, we need to do this all year long. And some of the board members said, financially, we can't do that. We can't give out all year long. I said, well, at that time they were giving out 1 bag of food every week to the people that came through. I said, all right, let me bargain with you. We're going to give out 1 bag of food every other week, but we're going to do it all year long. And I promise you, I won't spend any more money. And we haven't. It has been all year long ever since then. We are giving out a lot more food now than we ever were. A lot of that food we do not pay for. So I feel that I pretty much kept my end of that bargain, right? Okay. The poverty is very complicated. Feeding a child is not. As I go on, you know, we do the food things. We do distribute food 3 times per month at the York Benevolent, the first, second, and third Tuesday. We also distribute, while we're distributing food, it's a drive-through distribution now. While we are distributing food there, we are also delivering to 300 in the low-income high-rises. On the first and third Tuesday, we deliver to over 300 in the high-rise population. So that's about 550, 600 every week that we end up with. The count, when I was, we didn't do statistics when I first started out. That came a couple years into it. But we were probably around 300 or 400 a month then. Pre-COVID, we were up to 800 a month that we were serving at the Benevolent. My statistics last month were over 1,700 households per month. That has doubled, more than doubled since COVID. I only see that getting worse. Food is getting harder and harder to come by. Our main supplier of food is the Central PA Food Bank. They provide probably 75% of the food that we get. It's like a family tree. I get from them, they get from all other agencies. They source the food primarily for us. I also get from York County Food Bank. We get a lot of our free commodity food from them. Another little bit of a story. I like to tell stories, I'm sorry. I went into York County Food Bank to place an order last week, and I was very disappointed. There was very little to order. It's not York County Food Bank's problem, or not their fault, I should say. It's everybody's problem now. The budget impasse has hit so hard, they can't even order the food in. They're not able to get any of that free food in. I ended up not placing an order because I didn't want to take from some of the smaller agencies that were really reliant on it. So it's really, any of you that have any influence, contact your legislators and do whatever you have to do to get, make your voices heard, because it's trickling down to hurt the ones that are most vulnerable. So we also do food drives and items like that, so we get food that way. We are a very low-cost operation. We have 3 part-time employees. Myself, we have a financial administrator, and I think it was last year, I hired a helper, an operations assistant for myself. So we keep our things low that way. However, our service has not diminished, it has grown. So I rely very heavily on volunteers. I cannot give enough thanks out to some of the organizations that help out. We have a lot of our Eastminster group here, Eastminster Presbyterian Church. A lot of them are sitting at the table right there. They come in pretty much every Monday it was just through the school year before, but now we've evolved to doing backpacks all year long. Again, for the children. I'll get into a little bit of that, a little bit more. But Eastminster not only comes in and packs those bags, they provide financial assistance for that also. Eastminster Presbyterian Church has helped set up for the Hellam distribution. We do a remote distribution in Hellam on the 4th Saturdays. Eastminster's group does that. They hand food out. We partner with Faith United Methodist Church and set up behind there, and Eastminster does the actual work and hands the food out. On the 2nd Saturday, behind Eastminster Church on Haynes Road, we have a distribution there also. And again, they take care of that. All I have to do is load the food up and take it, and they hand it out. So they've been a great partner. So we get as much help as we possibly can from agencies. And if I have time, I'll touch some more of the agencies that are a big, big part of it. A little bit of information here. Last year, this is just from the Central PA Food Bank, what we do. 762,000 pounds of food we distributed last year. That's amazing for it. Now you factor in York County Food Bank also, and then all the donations that we get from different organizations. That's over 1 million pounds of food that we hand out every year. Our cost for that food, just from New York, the Central PA Food Bank, I apply for grants from there every year. The paid for by grant was a little over 66,000 last year. The benevolence cost was a little over $30,000. I'm very frugal with the money. So, and it's a lot of food that we're handing out. A lot of people say, well, is it good food? Or what do you? The part that's not up on there is that 70% of the food that we hand out is nutritious food. It's produce, it's protein, dairy, deli, stuff like that. Yes, they get their junk food. I'm a junk food addict, so I think that's important. It's food, it fills the belly, got to have that chocolate, Yep. Moving on. This is where I want to touch some of the organizations. We do food drives, we take donations, we give local York. In the center there, that is the Ladies Friendship Club. I spoke at the Ladies Friendship Club, oh gosh, I don't remember how many years ago now, 4 or 5 years maybe. And wonderful group of ladies. Ever since then, they have taken us on as their baby. When they have their meetings, they bring food in. I have a wonderful volunteer from there. Can I say her name? No, I can't say her name. But she's been amazing. Thank you, Sandy. I don't listen either. So, one of the favorite parts that the Ladies Friendship Club does, and I think they started it last year, they reached out to me and they start bringing this cart in. They said, we need help loading. Can you come out to the car and load me up? And I'm looking at these, it's in an aluminum pan. It's a cake mix, everything to make a birthday cake. The cake mix, the can of soda, the birthday candles, the birthday card in a really nice box, even has a pretty, the colors and that match in it. They wanted to know if we could hand those out for birthdays and I said, well, that's perfect. So I got one of my volunteers. When the parents are coming in, we would hand out papers. If anybody in your family is if any of your children in the family are having a birthday, let us know and you'll get one of these birthday cakes. I was worried that we were going to run out of birthday cakes because every child in there all of a sudden is going to have a birthday. And I'm thinking, there's no way I have time to track who got a cake and who didn't. It's been a couple years now. The people coming through the line are amazing. When they can bring their children in, that children giggles and squeals and laughs. It is just amazing when they get that cake. It's such a wonderful thing. They have no idea what impact those cakes have. It makes them feel important instead of just being in line, you know, being embarrassed to be in line. It makes them feel special. So I hope those cakes continue coming. We just got 80 of them last week. That should last us for a little while, but they love the cakes. Unique idea. Leadership York. I don't remember, I think it was it Amy? Somebody set me up with Leadership York last year and suggested we go to them. I gotta tell you, that was the best food drive we have ever had. They asked what they could do. I said, well, again, my favorite thing that we do is our backpack program. We feed children once a week. The Eastminster comes in, packs a bag of food. It goes home to 7 of the city schools, East York Elementary, Eastminster, and York County Votech, over 400 bags of food a week. We get no funding for the bags. For our regular program, we get the state food, we get grants, I can apply for things, you know, but we don't get anything for the backpack program. We have to be self-sustainable or we can't maintain it. We have to put in our own, and we do. So Leadership York, I said, how about peanut butter and jelly? I said, at this point, we're serving almost 400 a week. I don't expect to get 400 jars of peanut butter. But lo and behold, I have never had a drive like that. When they said, can we make a drop off? Could we do it on a Saturday morning? I said, sure, I'll bring a few carts out and help you. And they said, oh no, we're going to need a few skids. I'm telling you, it filled up our whole lobby. When they were trying to come in to get in the door, it's like I just had a pathway for them to get through. And it was a mess with peanut butter and jelly all over the place. But we loved it. We had enough for at different times. I didn't give it out all at once, but we had enough peanut butter for 3 times. So that was the best food drive we had. We got some other stuff in with it, but we didn't care. Canned soup, stuff like that. But the peanut butter and jelly was amazing. So it was a very good idea. There's a list of our members, board members, current members. I think everybody's still on here. Yeah, okay. Let me see. How much time do I have left? I want to get a few more things in here. Toys for Tots, we do that. Anybody that is aware of what's going on, Marines Toys for Tots do not have a place to hand out this year. So we're struggling to get toys this year. They don't have a place to put it. I offered the garage. We have a garage at the Benevolent. It's not big enough for them. However, they are going to take us up on putting some of their supplies in their garage, storing some of their supplies in our garage until they found a warehouse to hand the toys out. Amazon, somebody was at one of the meetings and met a gentleman there from Amazon and told him of the thing they were talking about, not having toys. So somebody from Amazon reached out to me and said, what can we do? I said, well, this is a perfect time because I have our toy program or our children's Christmas program every year. I don't know how I'm going to support it. They said, we can't guarantee what you're going to get, but we'd like to get some skids of stuff ready for you. Last week, I picked up 4 skids of product from Amazon. Some of the products weren't even opened. Are they all gifts for children? No. There might have been 2 dinosaurs or something in there, but diapers, baby wipes, there was a rocking horse, their shoes, they're not gifts per se. There were some crayons there and some construction paper. But I still think that these are wonderful items that we can hand out for Christmas. Bed sheets, bed covers, coats. So that's going to make their Christmas this year. And I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that Toys for Tots are going to get their warehouse and we'll get the toys from them too. So any kind of drive, I'm leading into that. If you yourself don't know anybody, talk to somebody. Say, hey, where you go to church? Could we do a food drive? Canned soup. Could we do canned soup? Anything like that at all. Again, the backpack program is my favorite because no child should have to be hungry, which takes you back to me growing up. That's why I am where I am today. So that's my favorite program of all. If I had to close down and, which program would I keep? I would keep that backpack program. And it's like the parents somehow can get food, but those children can't. So I hope to keep that program going. So again, pass the word, help whatever way you can. I'm gonna ask if anybody has any questions now. I'll open it up.
Thank you for your presentation. It seems to me there are a number of organizations that distribute food, the Well, the Food Bank, your organization. Tell me, is there any kind of a coordination among the agencies?
Absolutely. We're all in this together. York County Food Bank, we just had our agency summit together. Once a year, we all get together. We all partner with, obviously, the York County Food Bank. I do not get a lot of food from York County Food Bank for that reason. They are busy giving to Harvest of Blessings and all the smaller agencies. Benevolent is just a little bit better off that they can spend a little bit more money. So the food that York County Food Bank gets, I think, should go to York County and to the agencies that have it. And besides, they couldn't keep us in the food that we distribute. I would take all of their food, and they're busy trying to hand that out also. So that's why I'm out here asking for a little bit more, but we do partner. At one point, the Well was using our building to hand out food because they didn't have a location. But all the agencies, and again, through COVID and stuff like that, a lot of the agencies went under. They couldn't make it through. So a lot of them aren't there anymore. Crispus Addicts, we partner with them. Life Path Christian Ministries, the heating assistance, our Daily Bread, we partner with them. We assist them with their gas bills throughout the year. Harvest Transitional Living, these are ones that we assist with. We have a fund set up for heating assistance. It was heating, but it's now utility assistance. So all of those agencies, we do partner. Any other questions? No? Okay. Sorry. I keep coughing.
That's good. Thank you.
All good?
Yeah, you're all good. Yep. Thank you, Carleen, for sharing the incredible story and the ongoing impact of the York Benevolent Association. It's so inspiring to hear how an organization with such deep roots in our community continues to evolve and meet the needs of York's most vulnerable residents. Your commitment to ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food reminds us that what compassion and action truly looks like. We appreciate the work that you and your team do every day to carry forward a legacy of service that began more than 160 years ago. And I'm so proud that our alumni, our leadership training program alumni project team was able to make such an impact for your organization. So as you know, our speaker has signed a book to be donated to the York JCC's Child Care Program, along with a bookmark made by the students at Creative York. It's The Octopus Escapes. We're an octopus theme now. Next week, we will hear from Amy Weidstrom, president of the Pennsylvania League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. And with that, we'll wish you a good afternoon, and this meeting is adjourned.